Hey guys, and welcome to this impromptu episode of Aren't You Exhausted, the podcast. Today I'm just posting clips from last night's live stream that kind of got uh, a little messed up. For some reason, they weren't playing during the live stream. It could have been I tried troubleshooting it with my husband. We don't know what happened. But for whatever reason, they didn't want to play all the way through from TikTok, which is where I was pulling them from. So I went ahead and just downloaded the videos and I'm going to insert them in here. You guys can watch them in their entirety and have a little bit more context on to what was being discussed last night. And if you want to go back and watch that, you can go back in the chat or the live stream and watch what was discussed by everybody in the chat. And yeah, I'm going to sit down today and I'm going to caption both the live stream and this video before it goes up. So these will both be captioned for you by the end of today. I promise. Promise.
I have tried to stay out of this. I did not want to say anything because of the children's sake. I still don't want to say anything that will hurt them in the future. But since July the 18th, 2009, this man has tried to destroy every family that he has touched, starting with his own. When Cash was born, Joni worked right up till time for him to be born. And then she went back to work, I believe it was 6 to 8 weeks after he was born. And the very first night that she went back, or the day, because when she worked in Fayetteville, she worked on 12-hour shifts from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so when she got home about 9 o'clock, she pulled up in the driveway and she could hear the TV blaring, and above that she could hear her 8-week-old child screaming to the top of his lungs. She went into the house and into the nursery, and he had Cash in there with all of his clothes off, laying in the crib, no lights on, but with the ceiling fan on, and it was very cold in there. And he had the TV turned up so loud, and his reasoning was he was in the kitchen and he wanted the TV loud enough that he could not hear Cash crying. Now, that might sound like a great new dad to you, but it doesn't to me. And that's when the problems began. Joni told him she would not work another day if she ever came home and found her baby like that again. And so I started babysitting Cash. Then Joni moved to Sampson County, where her shifts were different. She worked 24 hours on, 24 hours off. Sometimes when they had busy nights, she run all day, all night, came home, tended to the baby all day, all night, and went back to work without sleep. When Cash was 2 years old, Joni was at work. Jerry was at his home. When there came a knock upon the door. Now this is his story. He did not even know that Cash was out of the house. And their whole area, subdivision there, is covered with ponds everywhere. And he did not even know that Cash was out of the house. A lady had picked him up going down the main highway, not the neighborhood highway in front of their house, but the main highway, just going down the main highway, little 2-year-old. So she stops, picks him up, and starts going house to house, saying, "Do you know where this kid belongs?" And when she gets to Jerry and Joni's house, Jerry, at that time, did not even know that he was missing. Does that sound like a caring, protective father? No. That was just an incident. he was very abusive to Joni, I'll say from a month after they got married until they separated. But she stayed because we really don't believe in divorce like that. Her father and I were married 61 years, and it was 61 happy years. And just like anybody else, we had our little ups and downs, but they were never significant. And that's what she wanted. So she just decided that she would go by the Bible verse, by the Proverbs 31 wife, and that she'd be obedient no matter what. And that's what she tried to do. But you can't be a Proverbs 31 wife if you don't have a Timothy husband. When you have a husband that all he wants is your paycheck and don't want you to even have money to take to work with, to buy you food while you're at work. One day, when she was off, we went to the store and we stopped at Kentucky Fried. And within 10 minutes after she got her sandwich, she got a text from him wanting to know, what are you doing spending money on a sandwich? You know. That's how he was about money. He really loved money. But she just went on with it. And then I told her, my sons had mentioned that there was something going on with Cash, that something was just not right with the lining up the stuff, the tiptoeing, and different things. And so I asked her about it, and she talked to Jerry about it. And Jerry said it was all crazy. There wasn't nothing, wasn't nothing wrong with him. And so when it was Cash's wellness appointment, she talked to the pediatrician, and she looked at him, she said, he doesn't look like he has autism. So she didn't do anything further. But within the next few months, Cash started regressing. Instead of adding more words, he was losing words. And he has done that several times during the last 12 years. But at this time, it seemed to be really fast. So I went with her to her pediatrician, and they got out a questionnaire, and every one of them was yes on the autism. So they made him an appointment to go and be assessed. Jerry blew his top. He did not want it done, but Joni did it anyway. But he said there was nothing wrong with him, and they weren't doing this and they weren't doing that. So Joni says, well, my kid's got to have what he needs. So she left him. She rented her house just down below mine. She continued to work. I babysat Cash. He had his therapies here. He had physical therapy. He had what do they call occupational therapy. He had the speech therapy and the different things. I think it was 3 or 4 times a week. And after 2 or 3 months of that, Jerry started, coming to visit and telling her he'd change and he'd do different. And then he wanted to take her on a kind of a anniversary celebration month, and she agreed to go with him, and I babysat Cash. Well, while on that celebration, he bought his mistress a present. Not his wife an anniversary present, but his mistress a present. And so Joni started seeing different texts here and there. And like any wife, when they get suspicious, she starts checking. And there were just an overload of them. You would not believe. And she has copies of every one of them. There is proof. It's not just something that she said. There's even pictures of him sitting in a restaurant holding this young lady's hand. Joni just asked him, she said, let me talk to her, and asked her to stay out of our marriage and not text you and let us, be together like we should be. And he said, if you text her, call her, or write her, I will divorce you. So the answer is no. Well, I think it was at that moment that Joni decided that, that it was over. And of course, this was after Colt and Caitlin had been born. Caitlin was a baby. And so she did a wedding. She's also a photographer. She done a wedding, made a good profit on it. And when she got her paycheck, instead of letting it go into Jerry's account, she took it, she rented her a place for her and the children to stay, and she had everything that they needed there. She'd never talked to Ryan while he was with his wife. They had been separated 2 years before Joni ever talked to Ryan. So all of that was a lie. Joni did not cheat on Jerry. Jerry cheated on Joni. And like and follow part 2. Thank you and God bless. A lot of people that should have been supporting her were not supporting her because they were too worried about what would be found out about them. And then, like the other ex, wanting to be so self-righteous, she left and went to the mountains, shacked up with 2 different people while there with Isaiah, far enough away that Joni would drive 4 hours there and 4 hours back so Ryan could see his child to pick him up. And she done that as long as they lived there. And then when her second man threw her out and she had nowhere to go, Joni came and found her a house within 4 miles of where they lived and paid the rent for her. And then kept Isaiah with them till she got everything arranged and moved. And then she was always wanting them to babysit when she had a day. She wanted them to keep him a week at a time and to do this. So does that sound like somebody that is frightened for their child? No. And Cash is not a monster. Cash is a son. Cash is a grandson. Cash is a loving. You only see little places in his life. And Joni only did that. At first she did it for the doctor so they could see, because she had no idea what was going on. And then, the doctor told her. And then she said, oh, I felt so alone. I felt like this could not be happening to anybody. And that's why she started off to sharing it. She had no idea about going viral and all that stuff. It was not her fault that it went viral. It went viral because, I guess, and still now there's a lot of people that call her every day and tell her how much it's meant to them, that they don't feel alone anymore, that they know it's not them, that they know that it is not a mental illness, it's a neurological disorder. And people saying beat him and Jerry, consequences, beating. You can't beat autism out of a child any more than you can beat seizures out of a child. There has to be limits, but it has to be taught. He had therapists. He doesn't have them now, but he had them twice, 2 different ones that worked with Joni, Ryan, and me to help us learn how to handle those meltdowns and him not be hurt and us not be hurt. Jerry refused to participate. He sent, and had got the message to prove it, that he wasn't doing anything that the doctors or them said. And that he was tired of him being up there in that facility, and he was going to get him. So blaming Joni for that was wrong. Blaming Joni for not having the therapist and the different things, that was wrong. See, you've been supporting the wrong person. And I know that nothing I say is probably going to make a difference, except that it makes me feel better, because the Lord said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He said that the truth would be shouted from the housetops that was whispered in secret. He said that was hidden in darkness would be brought to light. And it will. Those lies will be revealed. All the things that was done in darkness will be revealed. He also said, be sure your sins will find you out. And just like with Jerry talking about his constitutional right and all his guns. What does anybody need with from 50 to 100 guns? Okay? Number two, the last day that Joni worked on her job as an EMT, I had a procedure at the hospital that day. And her friend, who had just come back from Virginia, who had been snowed in and could not work, so she lost a lot of hours, Joni asked her would she take her first part of the shift so she could be with me during the medical procedure. And of course the young lady said, yes, I'd be glad to. I loved the girl too. She was my friend too. And so she said, well, but Joni, since I don't have many hours and I got snowed in, would it be okay if I took both half of the shifts? And Joni, being the way she was, said, yes, sure, that would be fine. And that night, that girl died. I don't know what they had ever deemed that happened, but the only ones that knew that it was not Joni there was Joni, the young lady, and Joni's supervisor. They were the only ones that knew about the shift change. And so many times Jerry had threatened her and all the time talking about purging her, that he wished he could have a purge, a day where he could kill who he wanted to and not have to pay for it. And all the time saying stuff like, I sure wish I didn't know wife and younglings to worry about. But you know what? He wouldn't use protection, and Joni could not take the birth control because of a heart condition she has and still has. So, all of y'all that are so bad-mouthed, don't talk about my grandson. God loves him. He said, suffer little children to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of heaven. He said also that a man would be better off with a mill rock tied around his neck and thrown into the bottomless sea than to offend one of my little ones. So, do you really want to be a part of putting him back in the hell that his mama worked so hard to get him out of? Let me tell you something else that the other two kids. Now, Colt is autistic too, but he is verbal. He can rationalize. He can tell you what he thinks. And he and Sissy told us and the CPS workers that when they were at Jerry's house and Jamie was there, that both Jerry and Jamie would slap Cash and Colt around. They didn't slap Sissy, but they would slap. Not spank, but they would slap Cash and slap Colt and let Cash try to handle his meltdown alone. That's cruel. That is child abuse. The therapist said that was child abuse. So please, think about what you're doing. Thank you. God bless you, and have a good day. Goodbye.
Car key. Cash. Let go. Let go. Car key. No car key. We're gonna eat at home. Easy. We're gonna have to save hands. Car key. Save hands, David. The car key. Okay. Are you hungry? Now. Where are you wanting to go? Car key. Okay. Are you wanting to go to the park? Grandma's house? Walmart? McDonald's? Hardee's? Where? Hardee's. Okay. We're going to eat at home. Okay? Thank you for telling me where you want to go. Hardee's. We can eat Hardee's tomorrow morning. Hardee's. We can't have Hardee's today. Carly C's. We already went to Carly C's. Carly C's. Car key.
Hey guys, So, I am Autism Dad. I'm the father of Cash. As y'all may have seen, he's been a little spectacle online lately. I'm here to answer some questions and try to disprove some of the stuff that's been going on. What y'all have seen online of Cash, that's not normal. And quite honestly, it shouldn't be on there. So one of the videos I saw last night that I'm going to address is his mom came out and said that, hey, he acts exactly the same at his dad's house as he does at my house. He even kicked out the windshield in his dad's van. He didn't kick out the windshield. It was a total accident. His brother was in the front seat the day prior, had his feet up on the dash. When it was Cash's turn, he hopped in, put his feet up, and when he went to go adjust himself, in the windshield that, I don't know if y'all can see it, but that was like 3 years ago, so it's gotten bigger, I'll admit that. But he didn't do it out of malice. He didn't do it out of anger. He was perfectly chill. His mom says that he acts the same way over here. He has meltdowns. He's autistic. The only difference is we don't videotape and egg him on and do stuff. When he's here, if he starts to get irate, we try to find out what's wrong first. Sometimes it's because he's hungry, sometimes because he's upset and sick. But usually if it's something we can't control, hey man, go to your bedroom. He'll go to his bedroom, he may come out and he may be grumpy. About 30 minutes, he'll get over it. But the same thing, it will send him outside to go for a lap around the yard if he gets angry. He hates exercise. We used to have a trampoline in the backyard. We'd make him go out there. And trust me, the neighbors heard him screaming and yelling and everything. So, yeah, he has his meltdowns. But as far as violence, not in my household. I'm not going to say he hasn't ever tried to hit one of the kids or done something to the kids. But we've honestly, for the last couple of years, have been trying to rectify the situation that his mama has imprinted on the other two children. Whenever they were here, if Cash would scream or make one of his sounds or whatever, they'd jump up and go running. And we had to talk to them. We're like, guys, why? Well, we're scared that Cash is going to hit us or hurt us. I was like, why is that? Well, at our house, we have to, safe room we have to go to. Guys, where is your mom while all this is on? Well, mommy's doing something else, or mommy's doing this. I was like, guys, y'all know when y'all are here, Daddy is going to be watching Cash. And y'all don't have to worry about it. I'm not saying things are perfect, but what y'all see online is not typical. And I've had people reach out to me and be like, hey man, is that the same Cash we saw Sunday morning at church? I'd be like, no, it's not. That's when he's with his mother. I've had teachers reach out and be like, hey, there's night and day difference between the way you raise him. I don't want y'all to think that it's easy having an autistic child. But I don't want y'all to look at Cash and think he's a monster either, the way his mother's trying to portray him. I've reached out to her and her husband and asked them to please stop doing it. In a roundabout way, in text messages and from what people have told me, it was, you can't tell me what to do and I'm making money. There's three sides to every story. Yours, theirs, and the truth. Y'all have seen her. I've been quiet up to the last minute. My fiance came on here a while back and was trying to get the truth out. And a bunch of people jumped on her to the point where she just stopped. I don't care if y'all like me or not. I'm a grown man. I'm going to brush off anything y'all say. I'm here for my children. I've reached out to try to get help for them. And then only certain things I can do without going back to court. And that might be an eventual issue. Now it seems like she's turning on the Colt, trying to get him more online now.
He doesn't want to be a bill.
Again, there's a 9-day difference between Colt here and Colt there. Colt has several times, while I've been on the phone with his mother or do something else, showed his butt over there that he wouldn't do here.
He doesn't want to be a bill.
And he doesn't even do that for my fiance. It's called common sense parenting. If you let them get away with it, they're going to get away with it. And I mean, honestly, I'm just taking this day by day. She has no structures. She has no rules. She's supposed to be on medication. There was a court order when we got divorced that she was supposed to have a mental evaluation. I don't think that ever happened. There's a lot going on. She lets the kids ride around without seatbelts. She doesn't necessarily put their safety first. And I mean, some of the videos that I've seen, if you're a mom with 4 kids trying to drag them around, and you know one's severely autistic and likes it quiet and likes consistency, why would you change that on a daily basis? I'm not saying I'm the perfect parent. I'm just trying to let y'all know there's 2 different sides to these kids. And right now, I feel my children are being exploited. Take that how y'all want. All I know is I've held out to the last possible minute trying to do this. I'm not looking for followers. I'm not looking for money or anything. I could care less. I probably won't even make another video or whatever. I'm just trying to get the truth out. But there's a lot of people that I think are starting to wake up and see what's going on. And I am starting to seriously get worried about the safety of my children. I just found out this past weekend that not only did she run out of gas twice going down the interstate to Georgia, Colt got lost at the zoo, which is okay. That happens. I'm not saying it's the normal, but things happen with children. But then later that evening, the police had to be called because Cash disappeared from a house full of people and everything else. This is stuff. Oh, by the way, I wasn't even informed of this. That this was stuff that I found out from Colt and Emma and also other adults. So, if y'all have any questions or anything to verify any of this, I know where all the bodies are buried. I know where there's evidence galore. So if somebody says, well, that's not true or whatever, I can probably go back and find text messages or something, whatever. And hate me, don't hate me, whatever. The main thing is I'm here for my kids, and I don't want them portrayed as monsters. Autism Mom and Google Autism Mom Cash Thompson. It really hurts me when one of the first things I find for my son is somebody posting, he's a monster, curb stomp him. If that person would like to contact me, we can talk about it. But the fact that I am a helpless father not able to protect my children is killing me right now. The fact that that person who filed this complaint against me is basically getting away with it for right now. I'm going to say this is very tough, but this isn't the first time this has happened. When the judge deemed the first time what the custody arrangements would be, person decided they were going to go and do what the court decided wasn't in their power to do and kept me from talking to my children. Not as bad as this, but would let me talk to them. They were held in contempt of court then, and I don't really know what's going to happen right now. But I've done nothing except try to defend my children. I've asked the other party not to post videos of my son Cash acting out or videos of Colt running around in his underwear. As I said, I can Google both of them right now and they pop up. She's worried about me doing or saying something that's going to affect the kids. Like I said, if you go and Google One of my favorite things to pop up is whoever compared her to Dog the Bounty Hunter. Stuff like that. And the other thousands of comments of people calling her crazy or asking why she's vacuuming at midnight. These are questions that I would really like answered. I don't care if she has a TikTok business. I don't care if she wants to go sell merchandise. I care about my children. I care about basically the other party giving the exact location of where they're at. I care about the comments that I've read where people aren't cheering Cash on. They're mocking him. There was one I saw the other day. I believe it was a school in Texas. A bunch of kids had seen it and are making fun of my son. My 12-year-old son, that up till a few months ago was happy and content in his own little world, is now being made fun of on a daily basis. I am stuck here waiting to fight for his rights. I've tried to be nice about everything. Like I said, this isn't about money for me. This isn't about fame for me. What you see online is not typical of my children. I'm not going to videotape when the kids come back. I'm just letting y'all know how it is. And I'm asking the people that sit there and watch this, y'all know there's people out there that are pedophiles looking at this. Y'all know there are people that are making fun of my son and everything, but y'all still applaud this and watch this? I am so very thankful for all of y'all people that stand up and look at this and recognize this. There's a lot of people out there that's not making fun of her. They're just saying, hey, this does not need to happen. I don't care about mocking, doing whatever. This does not need to happen. My 12-year-old autistic son shouldn't be known in Texas. He shouldn't be known anywhere. Guys, this has really killed me. Because April 9th, this happened. That was Monday. Up to that Friday, the other party had been texting me about watching Cash. That Sunday night prior, I had actually talked to my children like I'm supposed to every night between 7:30 and 8:30. But for the last couple of days, I had to contact the other party's husband to get him on the phone because she would not pick hers up. And this caught me at a complete surprise. That was April 9th. April 10th was my 40th birthday. I planned a huge party and outing with my kids to go to the circus and have fun and all this other stuff for my birthday. This is time I will never get back with my children. So I want you all to think about that. Next time y'all are watching one of these videos of my children or something like that, just think about that. Because I love those guys more than anything. And I'm not going to stop being a dad who will protect his children. Thank y'all.